Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long time, well, by a long time, just been 2 weeks because I haven't been able to commentate, but we are back commentating here for F1 Qatar in Division 1. I am BS Gabri, your commentator, back into the commentary box. We are here for round number 4 of season 16 here in F1 Qatar Division 1. As you can see, we are at Lusail in Qatar, and again, I have not been able to commentate the last 2 races, so I'll just update you really quick on how they went and how do the standings look like, because Qatar has won the first 2 races and is currently in the lead of the championship despite missing round number 3. The third race win of the season in round 3 was won by Morgan Edwards, a reserve, who now is currently in the V-Carb car. As you can see, qualifying is underway. Drivers are out on their out laps to try and begin the qualifying sessions as soon as possible. And again, yeah, Qatar is leading on 51 points. Jeremy has a P2 and a P3 to his name in this season, but not a race win yet. He has also missed round number 3, but he is in P2 on 33 points, tied with Felix, who, on the other hand, has attended all 3 races, but only has 1 podium. He finished P9 in round 1 with fastest lap, so got 3 points from that. Then he got P4 in round number 2, and then a P2 in round number 3, so wasn't able to maximize on his main opponents not racing because he didn't win the race. He just finished P2, and that's good enough to put himself in P3 in the championship standings, again side with Jeremy, and Felix is just 3 points ahead of his teammate Alex, still in Haas. Alex has scored 0 points in the first race, but 18 in the second race, so he scored a P2 and a P4 in the last one, so he's on 30 points. And well, those are the main. Well, I'll just finish with Edwin in P5. He has a P4 in round number 1, then a DNF in round number 2, and a P5 in round number 3, so he's done in P5 with 22 points. And about the constructors, Ferrari is leading with 70, Mercedes is in P2 with 65, Haas is very close with 63, and then the midfield is a very close battle between Alpine, Aston Martin and McLaren, who are respectively on 31, 30 and 30 points. So yeah, the first quarter of the season is done, the first 3 races out of 12. That is the progress for our was gonna be our last season on F1 24, as you may have already understood. And meanwhile, drivers are setting their fastest laps, with Alex not really setting an ideal lap as he sets at 21.9. He definitely must have made some mistakes. As we can see, the times at the top being much faster than that. Felix 21.5, Luca 21.2, then we have Janil with a 20.5 and Sam Alding with a 20.4. We got many NLL drivers joining today. Some of them I am seeing them for the first time. I think I am seeing Sam Alding and Janil, and also Luca racing for the first time. Same goes for Morgan. He's not in NLR, but again, I am seeing for the first time, but the rest is all the usual names we are used to see. And I mean, we are also seeing the 18 drivers, which doesn't exactly happen very often here in Div 1, so we are very pleased to see that. And yeah, the fastest time at the moment, 20.4 by Sam Alding, and then Janil just 66 thousandths behind, and then we have a huge gap from P2 and P3, 7 tenths separating Morgan Edwards from provisional pole position, and 13 minutes left to go into this qualifying session. So yeah, still lots of time left on the table. We've got other drivers on their hot laps as well. We got Sally finishing his first lap. It's going to be at 22.1, good enough for P9, and just a few thousandths of a second off of Jonathan, just ahead of him. And Sally just a few tenths, 2 tenths to be exact, ahead of Always in P10. The 2 Williams boys very close to each other with the positions, but not very close in terms of lap times. We've got someone else at a lap time. I think it might have been a Mercedes. I think it was Qatar. So yes, setting at 21.8. And look at that. I mean, our main championship contenders, so they're always up there with the pace, but that's not exactly the case here tonight. They are very far from the top. Felix is just in P5 with 1.1 seconds of pole position, and his main rival Qatar with 1.4 seconds. So yeah, it's not even the first time we see this situation either. We've had some other races where a lot of NLL drivers joined at the last possible time, and they just kept going significantly faster than our main championship contenders, at least in qualifying. Then the race was a complete different situation, and I think that is still going to be the case with Qatar. It's a very wide track, many fast corners. It's very wide, but overtaking isn't exactly as easy as you might think. We may see some overtakes around the outside with many fast, long corners and just a few traction zones, that is turn 6 and turn 16, the last corner. Maybe turn 10, it is also a traction zone, but it's slightly faster. So yeah, the hairpin of turn 6, just at the end of sector 1, is probably the slowest corner of the track. You'd take that in third gear, and but yeah, that's pretty much the one where you have to look out for the most in terms of traction, because pretty much the rest of the entire lap is almost completely flat out. We've got almost the entirety of sector 3, turns 12, 13, 14 and 15 as well. 4 corners in a row just being completely flat out, and then we got turn 16, which you also need to brake for that because it sets you up for the main straight. With the arrest enabled, yeah, again, there are many fast corners, which is also a significant factor in terms of strategy, because you really need to look after your front tires, especially the front left. You will suffer from a lot of understeer as the race goes on. The front tires really will lose grip quickly, and I mean really quickly, because they just put so much under pressure during these corners. We can see it already in turn 1 that we need to brake just a little bit for turn 2, obviously just reflecting to the right, so flat out for turn 3. Then we got turn 4 and 5, already extremely fast corners. We take them in 5th gear in the case of Phantom Fox, with an apex speed of around 220 kilometers per hour for turn 5. And then we see just how much we brake, and be careful with the throttle on the exit of turn 6. We got a medium speed corner, that is turn 7, followed by 8, 9 being flat out in 7th gear, and then you brake down to 4th gear for turn 10, back on the throttle, and from here on out, just before the last corner, it is completely flat out. 7th gear, 280 km per hour apex speed, flat round here, and again flat round here for this last right-hander. There you got the left-hander. Some may take it flat. Does Phantom Fox take it flat? He does. He downshifts to 6th gear, but he has a little bit of notice here. He has to correct it mid-corner, but he goes off. He goes beyond the white line on the right-hander, and that's an invalidated lap time. Invalidations are extremely easy here in qualifying, as well as tracking these penalties, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see many drivers going beyond the white line throughout the course of this qualifying session and race as well. Drivers still trying to push for their best lap possible with 9 minutes left to go. Now only Scafex and Bazooka are the only ones with no lap time set yet, but Sam Ali is showing really some sense of domination here with a 20.4 currently not being surpassed by pretty much anyone, and you can just see how these times are pretty much esports standards, because I mean our top drivers, the ones fighting for the championship, you know, Felix, Jeremy, well, Jeremy for one season last season, but he's in a good spot for this season as well, because in P2, Felix as well. Alex is close, but we'll see how the season goes. I mean, the usual names, you know them. We know their pace, they're always up there at the front, but when the NLR drivers come in, just not the fastest anymore. I mean, Felix, hats off, he improved up to P4. Actually, Cass retired, and I think that's in a pit lane, so maybe he doesn't want to go further in this qualifying session. But again, let me look at the fastest lap from Felix. It's 21.1. Okay, yeah, just sorting some things out. So yeah, 21.1, we'll see if that improves, but it is just extremely common to see the NLR drivers below the 21s. I mean, not in the case of Felix, but I mean, Luca, Janir, Samaling, those are the main esports drivers. To be honest, I'm not even really sure if I'm saying anything correct. Felix is in NLR as well, but it just goes back to what I said earlier. I think it was a race, I think it was Las Vegas a few seasons ago. Many NLR drivers, many esports drivers in general, they joined all of a sudden, and Felix was not up there at the front anymore, at least in qualifying. But in the race, both him and Couch Racer recovered a lot of positions. Maybe that's gonna be the case again, I don't know, but we'll see. In the meanwhile, Morgan Edwards is really close to Felix, just 0.06 of a second separating his them. Scafex improved up into P6, just a tenth faster than his teammate PC Willie. So the Aston Martin boys in P6 and P7. Then we got the two Mercedes boys, Couch Racer and Sean Moore. Couch Racer down only in P8, 1.1 seconds of a pole position. Maybe pole position will not be the result that he's gonna be looking out for, but maybe his priority will be to just be close, if not ahead of Felix, and to do that he's gonna have to find at least 5/10. So not exactly a great start to this qualifying session for Couch Racer. There are 6 minutes and 20 seconds left before the end. Maybe we'll see if he's gonna be able to improve. Dylan is improving by 4/10, and he just barely stays inside the white line. It was a very nicely executed turn 15, and now he goes up into turn 16. Overtake enabled, DRS enabled as well for the last corner, and on the main straight he improves by 5/10 and he goes up into P6 ahead of Scafex, who is going slowly at the moment. I think that's just to let the Red Bull pass, and I think he's gonna start his lap. No, he's actually back into pits because he's on low fuel. So he's Red Bull ahead of him, so that didn't matter that. We got Yanu, who is actually pushing. Let's watch out for Yanu, because if he finds 66 thousandths of a second, we might see a new pole sitter here around Qatar. Oh, and he goes very close to the white lines, both in turn 9 and 7. Very well executed there. We see the delta time. How is it after sector 2? It's looking good. 70 thousandths of a second, just barely the improvement he needs to go up into P1. Very nice line through turn 14 and through turn 15 as well. Lots of downforce on the Ferrari right now, and now braking, downshifting actually into 5th gear for the last corner. Overtake deploying, stay all the way to the left hand side. DRS enabled. Does Yanni get pole position? Yes, he does. Provisional pole position by Yanni in the Ferrari at 20.384, set himself 52 thousandths ahead of Sam Arling. He found a lot of time through the flat top corners in sets of 3, and that has put him up in P1 at the moment. Dylan is in his in-lap with Sean Moore, who is pushing now, going around turn 2 and turn 3. Let's see what the Mercedes driver is able to do after section 1. That is going to be just after turn 4 and 5, taking him in 5th gear, epic speed of around 220 kph. And after section 1, there is an improvement of 92,000. So Dylan retires in the pit lane. That's going to be the end of the qualifying session for the Alpine driver. P6 will be the best result he could get, but if others improve, the Scafex improves by 3/10, then Dylan will start to drop down the order. Shamur is looking decent so far, maybe not exactly using all of the width of the track, so not exactly having a wide line through the corners, but it's still improving by a tenth and a half almost, and I mean, just a thousandth of a second will be enough to put himself ahead of his teammate. Let's see, doesn't actually take 10-15 flat, just an ever so slight lift through the corner, down into 4th gear for the last corner, and again, DRS enabled, overtake deployed, and Shamur is going to improve up to P8, puts himself between the two Aston Martins with a 21.4, and just a little bit more than a second behind pole position set from Yanil. And at the moment, no one is out on track to push for their last runs. 3 minutes left to go. That is going to be enough time just for one last qualifying run here in Qatar. And we see the drivers coming out of the pits very soon, I reckon. I think drivers, they're already coming out of the pits. Yeah, there's lots of movement in the garage. We've got, I think, a Red Bull going out first. That is Luca with a Williams just behind him, which is going to be Owais. Luca could be looking forward to claim pole position here. If he finds about 2/10, then he can go up there. But as of now, it's a top 4 from NLR only. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. More and more drivers are coming out of the pit lane just as I speak. We got a V-Cab, then a Red Bull and a Ferrari, Aston Martin coming out of the garage. There is another Mercedes, and I think yet another Haas that is gonna be it's gonna be Felix probably. Yes, there we go. Lots of traffic through the pit lane there. Let's look at the closest car to the finish line, which is gonna be actually not Shamul. He goes back into the pits for some reason. He goes back into the pits with 1 minute and 40 seconds, and it is not gonna be enough time to set another lap. So that is the end of qualifying for Shamul. P8 will be the best result he could get out of this session. But now we will stay on board with Luca for a full commentary of a qualifying lap here around Qatar for the NLL driver in Red Bull, and let's see, 1 minute and 25 seconds left to go, and Luca will start a qualifying lap, the last qualifying lap here around Qatar, and let's see, 8th gear on the main straight, stay all the way to the left, 4 turn 5, aggressive downshifting and steering, downshifting up down to 5th gear, and stays in 5th gear throughout turn 2, and goes very wide on the exit to get a perfect racing line. But now let's see how much downforce we will see through turn 4 and 5. Lots of downforce, lifting and downshifting into turn 6 and taking turn 5 flat out, and now into turn 6, downshifting into 3rd gear, improving by 68 thousandths at the moment, but he still needs to find more time through sectors 2 and 3. Now braking for turn 7, downshifting down to 4th gear, and watch out for the traction on the exit, and he stays all the way to the left, riding those curbs, flat out into turn 9 and braking for turn 10 from 6th gear to 4th gear. Slightly misses the apex on the inside, but he goes very wide on the exit, still carrying a lot of speed, a lot of momentum, and around sector 2 there is an improvement of a tenth, more than a tenth and a half, but still not enough for pole position. He just needs to find a few hundredths of a second through sector 3. He took 3-4 corners completely flat out, staying in 7th gear all the way. There is still some energy left in the battery from 7th gear to 5th gear. Will Luca be able to steal pole position out of Yannick's hand? He goes across the finish line, and he will not. He actually lost some time through sector 3, and then that's an improvement only of just a little bit more than a tenth. But let's see, we've got a Haas as well, that is Alex, down in P14 and improving by only 2 tenths. That is gonna be P12 at most if he can manage to out-qualify always here around Qatar. But let's see, maybe if he finds even more time through sector 3 and through the last corner. The Haas driver down in 4th gear, he goes, he deploys the battery, he uses the DRS on the main straight. Alex will improve only to P13, he's not able to overtake always. Then we've got Edwin securing P11. We've got a VCAP that is Morgan Edwards improving up into P4. We have another Rebel that is Bazooka, who stays in P17 actually. There is a Sam Alding back into the pits. We got an Aston Martin that is Capex, who from P7 stays in P7. We've got Mercedes that is Catres only up into P8. There is a Ferrari that is Sully in P12. Then we got PC within the Aston Martin in P5. We have an Alpine that is I have lost track, I think it was Jonathan in P16. Phantom Fox improves up into P13. We have the last car of the track, which is Felix, but he has invalidated. He goes back into the pits, and that was a very quick run through the results across the main straight, and I think that is qualifying done. There we go, these are the official results. Enler Yanil claims pole position here around Qatar with a beautiful lap at 20.3, and just goes to show how quick he is around this track. When we see the results once again, there we go, NLR Yanil 20.384, that is the pole position time, and the other NLR drivers in P2 and 3, Sam Harding and Luca, very close to Yanil, 20.4 for both of them, and less than a tenth for the top 3. Then we have Morgan Edwards in P4 and PC within P5. It's not an NLR top 4 as Felix will start in P6. Then we got Dylan in P7, Scarfax in P8, Catchers in P9, Shamul in P10, and from P11 downwards we have in order Edwin, Sully, Phantom Fox, always Alex, Jonathan, Bazooka, and Action Rick will start at the back of the grid. And there we go, these are the qualifying results for an 18 car grid here around Qatar. I think that it's gonna be a very, very exciting race. So many cars, so many drivers, so many different situations. Again, our championship contenders are not anywhere near the podium places. They are all so far from each other. Felix will start ahead of Cat Racer. That is definitely a chance to gain some points, but that's only in qualifying, because the points, they need to be made in the race. So the qualifying position matters, but just up until a certain point, because there are so many things, so many different things that can happen in the race that could change your result pretty much any time. And around Qatar. I mean, I think we're off for a very exciting one. It's good to be back commentating here again. I missed the last two, which were let me check real quick. They were China and Japan. So yeah, Shanghai. Anyway, 3, 4, 5 red lights here at the Qatar Grand Prix in Division 1, and it's lights out and away we go. And Yannick and Sam Allen go to a very clean start. Yannick maintains P1 out of the starting grid, but we got Luca Morgan Edwards going side by side as Morgan Edwards has the inside line for 2-1, and he claims the position already. Many position changes, many overtakes around the outside, on the inside, you can name it, around turn 2 and 3. I think there's someone going off. That is Alex. Alex is off. He had an oversteer moment and he's down in P18, and he has wing damage. He already got damage and he's missing his left end plate. So already a terrible start for the Haas driver, who is down to last place. But it's a beautiful start for Yannick, who maintains the lead out of turn 1 and out of the rest for the lap. So Sam Allen following very closely. Morgan Edwards with a great start as well, overtaking Luca immediately on the first lap, on the first corner. Now we can see all the drivers going around the track around turn 9 and 10. We can see how they are so close to each other. Bazooka putting pressure on Sully, maybe having a look up the inside of the exit of turn 10, but it is simply not enough. They're not close enough. We'll go back to the lead as Sam Allen is following very close Yanni here around turn 14 and 15. And now we have some breathing space to look at the tires. Mostly mediums, some drivers on hards. Those drivers are Luca, Felix, Dylan and Alex. So these four going for the long run, going for a long stint, a manageable stint for the first part of the race, so that they can push the limit in the last stint. Alex goes back to the pits to repair his front wing damage. Always now for a overtake on Bazooka for P15. We got majors being close to each other. We got Dylan, who goes slightly wide and misses the apex, so maybe doesn't. That allows Sharmo to get closer, but not quite for an overtake there. So the drivers are provisionally following each other pretty much in a single line. Let's watch out for Luca. He has the hard, so he's gonna have less grip here on the first stint, and we can see he already risks to drop out of DRS, and that is gonna be an issue for all the drivers behind. PC Willy is losing DRS to Luca despite having the faster tire on the first stint. That is interesting. So we have a DRS train already being broken. Sully's round as well. I think he might have made a mistake. I think he went on the gravel. His tires are a little bit dirty. I'm not sure what happened there. We got the two Aston Martins exchanging positions as Capex now goes up into P5, but he has lost DRS to Luca. So Luca has lost DRS to Morgan. So it's top 3 now. He's in a DRS train on their own. P4 and P5 are on their own as well. Actually, P5 Scapex will have to defend from the DRS train. And there we go. We have already on lap 3 the first track limits penalty of the race. That goes to NLR Luca. 3-second time penalty that will be added to his solo time. Sam Allen goes for a move for the lead of the race into one. Many drivers going side by side. We got there's a Red Bull going around. There is Luca going around on his own at the exit of turn 1, and the virtual safety car has been brought out. The Red Bull driver, he's missing his entire front wing after making a fatal mistake of his own. The virtual safety car has been brought out for debris on the track. The race has been currently neutralized. I was seeing PC with and Tracer going side by side fighting through turn 1, but then the Rebel of Luca just ahead of them spun on his own, and that is a very costly mistake for the NLR driver, for the Red Bull driver, down in P17 and with massive damage. He's not going to be able to continue at the regular pace, so he's going to definitely have to pit for a new front wing, and that is very much a shame. Let's just see how Sam Allen handles this virtual safety car race, because if he can get close to the Delta and maybe try to extend the gap from Yanni just a little bit, then maybe that can be the setup for a good restart here around Qatar. Let's hope not. Okay, so no driver gets a drive-through penalty, so it's a clean restart so far. Sam Allen will be in P1 going around the last corner and on the straight, but this means that Janil and Morgan Edwards will have DRS. Sam Alling will be very vulnerable to the slipstream here as the Ferrari driver looks up the inside of turn 1. He goes back to the normal racing line and goes for a very clean, easy overtake. But now we got PC Willie and Carchers going side by side through turn 1 again as PC Willie has to back out, and Luca gets a 10-second penalty and he retires as well. Already on lap 4, it's game over for the NLR Red Bull driver. Now PC Willie chasing closely at the car chaser, who has to brake massively around turn 5. Maybe he had an oversteer, or he was risking to get a check on his warning, I'm not sure, but that was a very sudden braking from car chaser, and PC Willie had to react. He reacted very well, but he might have lost some time there. Scafex now is 3.3 seconds actually away from the top 3, so I don't think he's gonna catch back up to the podium places anytime soon. So he's just gonna have to maximize the result and try to defend from car chaser when he eventually catches back up. But Scafex teammate is really going after car chaser now. And Kyle here has improved a lot. He's in P5, so he's definitely lots of position gain compared to his starting grid. And he got a little bit wide, and that gives PC Willie the chance to go even closer. But I think Catchers will still have DRS, so there's not gonna be much that PC Willie can do to try and gain on the straight. Now Sam Allen goes back for the lead of the race. What about PC Willie? They both have DRS. What about actually the midfield? We have Phantom Fox, Shamwell and Jonathan fighting for the point finishing positions. We've got Shamwell in P10, Jonathan going slightly wide. Maybe that allows his teammate Dylan to catch back up. And we are only around lap 5. The Minions will still be faster, but I don't think we're too far away from the Minions starting to show some signs of tire wear, and that might be the point where the Hearts actually start to become the faster tire. Phantom Fox not able to catch up to his own teammate. 1.6 seconds separating the two McLaren drivers. And Catches and PC Willie fighting once again for position. Very close fight now. Felix is in his fight as well. And so PC Willie lost out to Catches, so now this allows Felix to look at PC Willie and to try and overtake him as soon as possible. But it looks like he goes faster through the flat out corners. Still takes all the slipstream possible. Janil and Sam Alling changing positions once again, but let's look at the other drivers on the main straight. They are all in a clean DRS train, so no moves happening apart from the Mercedes driver that is Shamwell overtaking Phantom Fox on the inside. They don't even go wheel to wheel around turn 1, so that is a very easy overtake for Shamwell. Exchanging positions up into P9, he goes. Scafex still keeps losing time and distance to Morgan Edwards. Now it's 5.1 seconds separating the Aston Martin and the V-Cup driver. But it's definitely because of DRS. They gain so much on the straight. I mean, the wings are so high, the DRS advantage, the speed you gain with DRS, the difference is massive. So that's definitely what's making Scafex drop even further from Morgan. But as well, they're all very close and very fast through the corners. So yeah, not a lot Scafex can do apart from trying to defend from Card, Felix and PC Willie. Edwin as well, but he needs to gain back in just a few tenths more to exactly be in this fight. He's very close, but not quite there yet. Chaser is very close to the rear of Scafex, but he actually chooses to stay in line and to take the normal racing on through turn 1 and too far actually to try and attempt a move. But there we go, we have this beautiful helicopter cam showing P4 to P8. Oh, and Chaser is slowing down once again through turn 5. PC Willy is right there. Edwin, he's catching back up to Felix as well. But they all look to be sitting comfortably in their places at the moment. They're just driving normally, gaining with DRS. Maybe some drivers going a little bit slower than others through some corners. Maybe that's what settles up a move. Although we haven't seen any move yet apart from the DRS exchange between Sam Alling and Janil. Let's see if that's gonna be different now. Oh, PC Willy has a late apex and has a better exit than Catcher, so he might actually have a run from him. They both have DRS. Actually, Catcher, so it seems maybe he's deploying a little bit more than Catcher, so he still stays behind, and PC Willy almost rear-ends him. He has to brake a little bit more than usual, but he's looking for probably a switchback on Catcher, so trying to take all those late apexes. Trying to have a run on a Mercedes driver ahead of him. And so is Felix, who is even closer to him around turn 5. He's looking for a gap. Will he go for a gap? No, he actually stays behind through turn 6. But they're all saving energy, and I think most importantly, they're saving tires. If you're on hards, but as well if you're on mediums, you really need to manage your first stint. Side where it is crucial to manage around here. It can definitely make the difference between a race winning strategy and a race losing strategy. Also, the interesting thing about strategy is that the undercut is not exactly the ideal thing. Actually, an overcut might be better because the hards are using C1 to C3 compounds, so the hards are like the hardest hards possible. Which means that they are extremely cold on the outlap and they have insanely low grip, so an overcut might actually be the best strategy around here. But as well, we have the second victim of the track limits penalties, but now the midfield is much closer to each other, but they still don't go for a move. There's a Ferrari in the pit lane, there is Sully. Sully already on lap 9, goes for a pit stop. From the mediums to the hards already. That's gonna be a long stint on the hards. Like an extremely long stint. I mean, the hards, yeah, they are made to last, but they're still gonna suffer from immense tire wear on the fronts towards the end of the race. So it's quite an early pit stop for the mediums. Not exactly too early, but not exactly a lap you'd expect either. Lap 8. But he's close to Alex, he just stays ahead of Alex. And those hards are going to be very cold, but Alex's mediums are a little bit worn out, so I don't know if they're going to be faster. Dylan as well, now we have the, well, second but third driver, because Luca had a penalty as well. We'll say the third driver with checklist penalties, 3 seconds added to the Alpine driver at the end of this time. And he goes wide, he might have gotten another warning through turn 14. But let's go back from the places from 4 to 8 as Capex now goes for a move on car trace, and look at that, Felix is gonna go on the inside. They go 3 wide through turn 1. Look at that, PC Willy, catches and Felix, they all go wheel to wheel through turn 1. Felix has the outside line through turn 2. They still go wheel to wheel. Felix and PC Willy, who's gonna be ahead? They're leaving so much space for each other, but Felix goes for a beautiful double overtake on PC Willy and car trace, and now in P5, and PC Willy almost went side by side through turn 4, but he has to back out, so now he's in P6, and Catcher has been demoted all the way down to P7. Was in P4 on the straight and went to P7 just after 4, 5, 6 corners. Wow. And Edwin is still 6 tenths behind despite all this bustling, so he's just staying there. He's not losing but not gaining either. But I think now we are to that point where the hards are faster than the mediums. I actually won't be surprised if we see other drivers in the pit soon. Oh, but look at that. We got Yanil and Morgan Edwards side by side. They both with DRS on the main straight. Yanil has the inside line and he goes faster trying to overtake Sam Ali Mariachi. No, he stays in P2. Now let's go back to Scarface and Felix, as Felix has a massive overspeed around the outside. Out one is a very easy overtake, but now catches in P2 Willie. They go wheel to wheel once again as P2 Willie drops back to P7. So there is catches improving up of one place around turn 1 in season P6. But now he's very close to Scarface. He has a look around the... Actually, he backs out. He had a look down the inside of turn 4, but goes back to the normal racing line before any move happens. And we are on lap 11 out of 29. And we are yet to understand when will the medium runners go back into the pits. Sally and Alex fighting for P16 and 17, but they are 22 seconds off of the pack, 23 actually. I mean, Alex, because he had the early pit stop with the wing damage to fix, and he's definitely gonna have to do another pit stop because he's on the minions. Those minions are not gonna last up until lap 29. He's definitely gonna have to do another pit stop. Sally can try to go to the end, but those hards are gonna be extremely worn out towards the end. Top 3 is staying out on track. So is this upper midfield pack. And now Cartracer has a look around the outside and Felix gets overtaken by both Scarface and Cartracer. Cartracer and Felix go side by side, but Felix stays ahead. They went just wheel to wheel for a brief moment there. This really, maybe can he look for a switchback? Actually, he cannot. He almost set it up around turn 2, but wasn't about to happen. And all these Eddings actually losing out. Action break as well, 3 seconds time penalty, and we have always in the pits the Williams driver going from mediums to hards on lap 12. And I think that's going to be just a matter of time until we see all of the other medium runners back into the pits as well. Felix will stay off for longer, of course. He has the hards. So it's just saving the tires for now so that he can push the maximum limit on the mediums in the last stint of the race, which is going to be quite late, maybe around lap 18 or so. And Yanil as well! That's massive! Yanil fighting for the win, but he got a 3-second time penalty. And this rules out the Ferrari driver from the contention, from the fight for the race win here in Qatar. He now has a 3-second time penalty, so this fight will still be on track between Sam Alding, Yanil and Morgan Edwards, but effectively it will be between Sam and Morgan, Scarfax and Edwin and Shamol in the pits. Now we have many medium runners in the pits. We got Jonathan as well. Other medium runners are staying out. Scarfax attempting the undercut on Felix Cartracer and Peace Willie, but again, the undercut might not work around here. He needs to get those hearts up to temperature quickly, otherwise he's not gonna gain, he's even gonna lose. Lap 13 out of 29, and we are now into the most interesting part of the race, the strategy calls. The overtakes made in the pit lane, one of the most deciding factors for the finishing position here around Qatar. Always places himself ahead of Bazooka, so defends a P13 very comfortably. So does Jonathan in P12, Shamol in P11, Edin in P10, Scarfax in P9. Let's look at the gap from Scarfax to Cartracer. So 34 minus almost 10 is 24 seconds. That's actually 34.2. Let's see if that goes down or it goes up, so that we can have a better understanding whether the undercut is gonna actually work. 33.9 stays in P9. PZ will be back into the pits. Phantom Fox as well. Cartracer still stays out. So 33.8. Stays 0.8. I think again just a handful of tenths, but not that much. PC William Phantom Fox going out of the pits. So where is Edwin gonna place himself in all of this? Edwin will be ahead of both pitting drivers, so ahead of both Shamol and Phantom. But actually now maybe has a run on Pizzuili. They are so close to each other. Jonathan, now we have another victim of chucking penalties. We are up to 5 drivers with chucking penalties here in Qatar. Jonathan now also has 3 seconds added to his time. Edwin is very close to Pizzuili. These two were fighting for the race win at the Japanese Grand Prix in Division 2 this Wednesday. And eventually Pizzuili had the better result, overtaking Edwin and winning the race. And they are now back again in this fight, this time in Division 1, which is going to be useful practice for Division 2 later on as the week goes on. Catches is back into the pits finally. So is Sam Alling and so is Morgan Edwards. Where does Covers come out in all of this? Will he be ahead of Cut Racer? Might be close. To the pits they go, and I think Scavex has very easily overtaken Cut Racer. Yes, Cut Racer actually, he may be overtaken by Edwin as well. Edwin swoops around the outside of Cut Racer just as he comes out to the pits. And this is a very helpful situation because he has now put himself, actually put Cut Racer between himself and Pizzuili. So now he has some more breathing space, especially considering Cut Racer will have cold tires and won't be able to go as fast. So Edwin has a chance to gap Pizzuili and to try and chase Capex. Even though they're 2.4 seconds apart, they're very far from the arrest range. Janil is still staying out on those mediums. Oh, never mind, he's actually going back into the pits. Massive lock up on the front tires. He was very close to speeding, but he just got the car stopped in time, below 80 kph. And now the Ferrari driver finally goes back into the pits from mediums to hards. So everyone has made their mandatory pit stop. Alex should be in soon, but for a secondary pit stop because he has already done the first one. And now Felix is on track in P1, leading the race, but is not going to be P1 when he pits for the mediums. But once he does, he is going to have to push the absolute limit. Cut Racer and Edwin fighting for position. Cut Racer overtakes Edwin with the DRS, and so does Pizzuili, who stays on the inside line. Edwin leaves him lots of space through turn 1. It goes a little bit too wide, actually. He might have lost some time there. Dylan as well, 3 seconds penalty for the Alpine driver. I think he already had a penalty. Let's check real quick. Yes, 6 seconds. Dylan is the first driver to get a double track limits penalty here in Qatar. And we drop down the order even more. So the original top 3 of Janil, Sam Alling and Morgan Edwards, they are still very close to each other. But let's remember that Janil still has the 3 second time penalty. So unless, I will rule out Dylan because he has 6 seconds. So unless Felix pulls an almighty stint on the mediums, the fight for the win will be between Sam and Morgan, between Sauber and V-Carb. Which I think they're both reserve drivers. Morgan for sure. Well, actually no. Morgan just got a main seat at V-Carb for Division 1. I didn't even notice that. Let's look at Sam Alling then. Oh yeah, who as well got a main seat at Sauber. Janil gets another penalty. Now 6 seconds for the Ferrari driver, and that rules him out of contention for the win even more. Cut Racer, Pizzuili, Edwin and Sean as well, who actually wasn't in this fight at all in the other stages of the race. Scarface and Catchacer have pulled out from this midfield battle. Felix is back into the pits finally. Lap 17 out of 29. Pit stop for the hard runner. He has now made his mandatory pit stop. Sam Allen sets the fastest lap of the session at 23.6 on the hards, but I think that's gonna be beaten easily by Felix, who will have fresh mediums and less fuel on the car, so it's gonna be lighter and he's gonna achieve faster lap times. Where does he come out on track? Catchacer is trying to defend from P3, but he actually overtakes him and stays in P5. Felix does not have the DRS from Shamor, but I think that's gonna change very soon on those fresh mediums against slightly worn hards. 1.3 seconds, but I think he can scrape off a few tenths already in the next corners. There we go, from 1.3 to 1.1 immediately. 1.0 I think is gonna go down to 9 tenths as well. Yep, there we go. 9 tenths now between Felix and Sean. He is getting quickly. Gap to leader, 15 seconds. He's not gonna gain back to win the race, that's for sure. But he is 5 seconds behind Scarface. I'm not saying he might gain on Scarface. Maybe PC could be the target for Felix. Maybe a P5 could be the best result he could look out for. I mean, P5 is just pretty much ahead of him. He can visibly see it on track. But if he's even faster, maybe he can try and catch up to P4. Not much happening in the top 3. They still stay in the same places they've been all race long, just occasionally swapping positions with DRS, but for the rest it has been the same from start to finish. Now Felix overtakes Shamor. That is the first overtake for Felix done. Action Rick now gets a second time penalty. Yes, 6 seconds for Action Rick. Felix looks significantly faster than Edwin at the moment. I think he might just catch him around the flat corners. Stays flat for 3 corners, and look at that, he's pretty much almost pushing him through turn 15. He has overtaken, he still stays behind for DRS. Yes, a move around the outside of the last corner for Felix, now up into P7 and overtaking Edwin, and now he's gonna deploy some battery, use DRS to try and gain back on Catchacer and Pistol Willy. Oh, look at that, just how much he gained on the braking on Catchacer, his main championship contender, who goes very slowly on the exit of turn 1. Let's see, does he have a run? Does he go on the inside, out zone 4? Felix and Catchacer are going side by side. Felix has the best, the faster, fresher tires, and there we go. It's an easy move. Actually, Catchacer jumps down behind Edwin as well. Edwin with a beautiful move around the same corner, jumps down Catchacer to 8, actually to 9. Oh, Catchacer disconnected! Catchacer has disconnected from the Grand Prix. I invited him very quickly, but that's gonna be such a shame for Catchacer. He's gonna be stuck on AI and he's gonna go so slow. He might drop down behind Phantom Fox, Jonathan Dillon as well. That is such a shame for Catchacer. Horrible timing in the middle of this fight. He might drop out of the points positions. Maybe Felix doesn't know that he's disconnected, but all he knows is that Catchacer is very much behind and he has a very concrete chance of gaining many points. There we go, he has joined. Let's hope he can gain control of his car very quickly. Yanil has pitted. It's a second pit stop for Yanil. From hards to mediums. So he's gonna try to push even more on his second stint, but he drops down to P12. How many places is he gonna get? How many places is he gonna gain back? I honestly don't think this pit stop made any sense. It would have made more sense to stay there in the top 3 on track and to just maximize whatever you could with that penalty. Or he's gonna have to push like a madman, but there's not that many laps left to try and overtake everyone. I mean, it's already 4.1 seconds separating himself and Dylan, and they are almost on the same tire. But I know this, let's watch out for Felix. Because if he pushes hard enough, he could gain back on Scarface and all of a sudden fight for a podium here in Qatar, which is gonna be an extremely useful result in the championship standings. Phantom Fox, 3 seconds time penalty for him as well. Felix won't take the championship lead if the results stay like this, but he's gonna gain an important amount of points on Cat Chaser, and well, obviously Jeremy because he isn't racing, Janil is replacing him, but Janil has been stuck in penalties every lap now. I think it's up to 9 seconds, yes. Watch out for Chris really because he still looks like he has some pace left in him to stay behind Felix as much as he can. Oh, Scarface has 3 seconds time penalty. That's his first penalty of the race. And that is gonna be very, very important. I think Felix now he has breathed a sign of relief, seeing that Scarface now has a penalty ahead of him, so he's not gonna have to overtake him on track. Effectively, Felix is on the podium now. Asherick now gets another penalty. We are down to 7 drivers with track limits penalties. Oh, there we go, now 8. Perfect timing, Edwin gets a penalty as well. So Felix just missed out on DRS, but that's not gonna be very important, is it? I mean, he's in DRS range of Scarface right now, but he's gonna gain on him even without the overtake. But look at that, Dylan going for an overtake on his teammate. They don't even bother going side by side. It's safe for both of them to just stay where they are and try and chase the McLaren of Phantom Fox. How many penalties do they have? So 3. It's pretty much a fight on track except for Dylan because he has 3 seconds more than the rest. So he's gonna drop down outside of the points. Unless the others get a penalty as well. Whoa, Jonathan going very deep, but breaking out turn 6 and almost overtakes on the exit. And now all of a sudden Cat Chaser is very close to him. Jonathan with another penalty as well, but now look at that, we got a few Aston Martin teammates close to each other. One of them is fighting for the championship. Very Felix, who is happens to be 3 on track right now, but look at that, PC Willie sends it on the inside out turn 1. They still go wheel to wheel, and oh, PC Willie with a massive oversteer moment. Luckily keeps the car outside of the barrier, but that was an extremely scary oversteer for PC Willie. Good save. And he still manages to stay inside the DRS and close to his teammate and to his rival. Sends it on the inside of turn 1, but not able to maintain grip on the exit. Yanni keeps stacking penalties every corner now. PC with as well got a penalty. We are up to 9 drivers with track limits penalties. Scarface, PC Willie and Edwin all with 3. So Felix is a lot more relaxed now because he knows he pretty much has to bring this podium home. He just needs to not get a penalty. Because even if he gets overtaken, he can stay close enough and he will gain the position back. So no rush for him, no pressure. Just bring the car back home in one piece. With 5 laps left to go. Scafex now re-overtakes Felix for P3. But in all of this, we still got a fight for the win. Let's not forget that we have Morgan Evans and Sam Allen, who have been so close to each other from the start of the race up until now. Lap 25 out of 29. With Luca out of the equation already on lap 3 or lap 4. These two are the main contenders for the win. And they haven't exactly been battling up until now. Just cruising around. But what's more important is who's gonna be behind starting the last lap. Because who's gonna be behind, we'll have DRS and we'll have an easy overtake on the main straight with DRS. So he overtakes just before turn 1, and other than that, I don't think we will see any more overtakes. So to win this race, you just pretty much need to stay in P2 once the final lap starts. Then you go for the move B for turn 1. Dion got a penalty, another check in his penalty. I think it's now 9 seconds. I think I saw another driver getting a penalty. I'm not sure who. I think it was Janil. But to be fair, he has been getting up until P8, but he has been stacking so many penalties. His position is not really relevant right now. Look at that, Morgan. Whoa, Morgan with a massive oversteer at the exit of turn 1. Keeps the car on track. I think it was very similar to what PC Woody did. Oh, we got many overtakes happening around the top of the field. Felix being overtaken by both Aston Martins, but again, it's not gonna matter with those penalties. Felix keeps gaining back on the 2 Aston Martins. Jonathan gets another penalty. There you go, DRS enabled for the both of them. Yeah, not any sort of move happening, but we got 3 second time penalty as well. 10 drivers with track limits penalties, and the one who has the most is Janusz with 12 seconds. He's gonna drop down the others so much at the end of the race. But now, with a lap and a half, oh, never mind, Janusz now gets 15 seconds. But anyway, they've both been saving their battery up until this moment right here. Sam Alling and Morgan Edwards with just a little bit over a lap left to the end of this race. Sam Alling will start at the back. He will start the last lap in P2, which is gonna be the deciding factor to probably win this race here in Qatar. We now start the last lap of this Qatar Grand Prix. They are both deploying their energy. Morgan Edwards is deploying, but there is absolutely nothing you can do about Sam Alling, who completely flies past with DRS and with ERS enabled. There is absolutely nothing Morgan Edwards can do, and Sam Alling goes for the lead of the race, and he's ahead. He's in P1 just as he starts the last lap. He starts the last lap in P2 and comes out of the first corner in P1, which is exactly what you need now, because Morgan Edwards will have few to no chances to re-overtake Sam Alling unless he can pull off an overtake where you don't overtake. If you pull off a move that is absolutely impossible and against all the laws of physics, he's gonna stay behind up until the end of the race. 3 times separated in front, and they are both deploying their batteries, trying to push their car through the axles, hoping that maybe one of them makes a single mistake, which could be an oversteer, a lockup, or a track limits warning. Could it be any of that? I don't think it will. Actually, yeah, Morgan Edwards gets a 3-second time penalty, so that adds up to his defeat even more at the last lap, at the last corner. Sam Alling is gonna be your winner for the Qatar Grand Prix. Morgan Edwards will be in P2 at the end of this race. Scafex fighting with Felix and with his teammate. He will finish this race in P3, but Felix will actually be the one to effectively finish in P3. That is a podium for the German driver, and that is an important points gain on his rival Car Tracer. Not as much as he thought, because Car Tracer recovers a lot of positions. Yeah, he was 3 thousandths of a second behind his teammate Shamul. 3 thousandths of a second. I think it was just because of penalties. I actually can't see the penalty, but Car Tracer, he recovered a lot of positions because of the penalties from the drivers ahead, but wasn't able to overtake his teammate by 3 thousandths of a second, and that's 2 more points for your car. That's a 15 points game for Felix, at 8 points game for Car Tracer. So the effective gain is actually going to be 7 points. So Felix gains 7 points on his main rival. Could have been 5 if Car Tracer went just 3 thousandths of a second faster. But anyway, Scafex will finish in P4, the 2 Mercedes boys in P5 and P6. We'll go to the podium celebrations in just a moment there. Felix gets the driver of the day. I can agree with that. He didn't exactly have an ideal starting position, but I mean, he just drove a consistent race, very clean, no mistakes, just kept his cool, nice strategy, nice consistency, and that's what brought him up to P3. Hasn't made mistakes when others have, so yeah, that's what put him up to P3. I don't think he could have gained even more than that, to be honest. The pace from the 2 NLR drivers was just actually not from the 2 NLR drivers, I mean from the top 2. So so Morgan and Sam, just not really a lot he could have done to gain on them. So just did the best he could deliver. P3, 15 points, important to his name and important to his championship. So yeah, I can agree with the driver of the day there. PC will finish in P7, Fanzo Fox in P8, his teammate Edwin in P9, Dylan will claim the last point in P10. Outside of the points, we have Janil, who showed extremely fast pace and was fighting very much for the win at the early stages of the race, but he just got 15 seconds of penalties and dropped him on to P11. Then we got Jonathan, always Sally, Bazoka, Alex Akshenrik, and Luca retiring from the race. There we go. This has been the Qatar Grand Prix. Pretty much a strategic race, in terms of tire strategy, pit stops, track limits penalties or not getting track limits penalties. I think that was the deciding factor there. So yeah, we will now finish round number 4, and we will see you again for. So let me do a quick recap. We've got esports tomorrow. There's gonna be round number 8 in Mexico. We're gonna start the American Tour, and NLR actually has a mathematical chance to win the championship tomorrow with a huge gap from P2. Then we've got obviously the Qatar race in Division 2 on Wednesday, same time as usual. But for the rest, I will see you again on next Saturday for Division 1 for round number 5, which is gonna be the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Thank you for watching tonight's race in Qatar, and I will be looking forward to see you again next week. Goodbye.